Hey, so just got back from my workout. Got my protein, my carb source. I feel like I always check in with you guys at the same time of day. And the reason being, I want you to see consistency. I want you, like as a coach to a lot of you, through my programs and such, I want you to see that I lead by example. I practice what I preach. I'm up exercising. I spend the money on my supplements. I do what I need to do to get results. And I like you to be able to see that, just as I am inspired by seeing you guys post when you guys do things. Consistency is just everything, right? We do the best we can, as consistent as we can. But I wanted to say like a huge thank you to everybody that responded yesterday to the stories with the questions I asked. Like, what questions do you have for me? There were hundreds. I was floored with how much came in. And I tried to stay on top of them as best as I could. The overall feeling though, from the bulk of them, and so I wanted to talk about this, is the same question of where do I start? How do I stay motivated? What am I supposed to do? Just tell me what to do. And that's honestly why I created this account, was because it took me so long to figure out nutrition and the right type of workouts and how to work out. And I mean, I've spent years in paying a ton of training myself, millions of hours on YouTube, following other people, working out with other people, learning from them, people being nice enough to teach me and letting me follow them. And I mean, it's just been a lot of work put into kind of getting where I am. And I'm still with a coach. I'm still not done learning. I still invest in a coach every single week to teach me, not workouts, but how to move better functionally, how to screw my lats down and back and my feet into the ground and brace properly and just work on movements, right? We always are learning, always. It's viewed as an investment, right? We're investing into our bodies and our health. And I don't feel like learning really ever ends. And so the questions though, this resonated with me because those are all the questions that I had in the beginning. What the heck do I do and where do I start, right? So I wanted to kind of have like a heart-to-heart, really brutal question that I'm gonna ask you. Because I felt like this was like my coming to Jesus moment that I had to have. And it was, how bad do you want to see changes? Like, I want you to ask that. 0 to 10, what are you willing to sacrifice to see the changes that you want in your body? For me, right, because I knew nothing. I did read food labels. I'd never exercised before. I had no concept of how to change my body or where to start. Weakest, laziest person alive. It was going to be a struggle for me. It was going to be hard, and I knew that. And I wasn't willing to put in effort at a 9 or 10 or consistency. So I didn't even touch the food aspect for like months. I just paid for a program because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I at least was smart enough to do that. And followed 3 HIIT workouts a week. I watched a Grey's Anatomy episode every time, so I dragged it out for an hour, which means my heart rate was nothing. But that's all I could do, and I was so proud of myself. So it's okay if you're only putting a level in of 2 or 3, right? There are constraints that we have. Sometimes the sacrifice of waking up earlier can't happen, or the sacrifice of going at night because our husband's gone and no one's there to watch our kids, or we don't have time, or we don't have the money to spend on better supplements, right? Sometimes we can't do those sacrifices. And it's okay that we're only investing, we're only putting an effort in of level 2 or 3. You just have to have the expectation that the same output and input's the same, right? So if I'm only putting in a level 2 or 3 effort, like my 20-minute turned into 60-minute 3 times a week and not touching my diet and nutrition, was only going to be an output of a 2 or 3, not a 10, right? I can't follow someone online and be like, I want to look like her, but only be putting in a level 2 and she's putting in a level 10, right? You just have to be realistic. We can always do better. We can always find a good, better, best with a best solution, right? So that's my only tip, is just have an honest discussion with yourself of what do you want to change. My why, because motivation's out the door. Don't ever even worry about being motivated. That's motivation is awful. You need to find a why for what you're doing. So mine was, I didn't want my kids to remember me how I was 4 years ago. Snappy, irritable, cranky, getting mad over the stupidest things, and the mom guilt set in, and then my husband and I would fight about it. I wasn't happy by the end of the day because I wasn't taking care of myself at all. At all. And then I didn't like myself, right? And my body had put on almost 20 pounds in a year, which for me was a lot, and I knew it was going to continue, and I didn't know how to stop it. I was not in a good place. So I realized I'm not focusing on the number on the scale. I didn't even own a scale, because that number like is just how much your hair and your pancreas and your heart and your poop and a little bit of body fat weigh. Who the heck cares what that is? I want to know what I can do with my body, and I want to be proud of how it looks, but I want to be able to functionally move, and I want to feel better, right? I also didn't care about a calorie number, because that's just a reflection of my habits, right? So I'm not gonna just do hours of cardio and eat less to hit a dumb calorie number somebody gave me when I haven't changed any of my habits, right? The habits are what control everything, but it's hard to change habits, which is why everyone just focuses on these numbers. But then when they don't see results, I'm like, well, give me a snapshot of your daily life. Like, how many steps a day do you take? How much water are you getting? What is your rest like? Are you following a good progressive overload training program? There's all these things, right? Good, better, best. And then we can talk about what's not working or working. And so you just have to look at all that you're doing, good, better, best choices, and where on 0 to 10 are you coming in at an effort and consistent level of how bad do you want it. Just have the expectation. Like I said earlier, if you're only putting in a 2 or 3 watching a Grey's Anatomy like I was with nothing else happening, your results will be slower and they'll be at a 2 or 3, right? And then as you gain confidence, like what I did, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can tackle just cutting out snacks. I didn't look at calories. I just did the obvious, my habits. I cut out all the crap I was eating. Went cold turkey, chips, candy, sugar, ice cream, soda. I don't ever drink alcohol, all those things. And I felt better. And I noticed I wasn't yelling as much. That was my why. Sugar and that processed crap literally turns you into a different person. I should do a testimony with my kids now because they would testify that I'm not the same person, and it's due to the food I ate and lack of movement. And so that's my why. That's why I'm not gonna change back, revert back. The chips and soda and that crap that would lure me isn't as strong as being a better parent and spouse, right? That's my why. That's a huge motivating factor for me. And so you guys need to just figure that out of how bad do you want it. It's an investment, because I get these messages that are heartbreaking because I have been there in the beginning of I am doing everything I think I can and I'm not seeing results still. And so I'm going to quit. And I just beg of you, don't quit. Think of good, better, best. Where are you on that scale? There's always something we can learn or do better. Usually costs more, but that's an investment into you, and I promise you'll see better results. Or on a 0 to 10 scale, where are you now? If you're at a 7, then let's ramp it up and try for an 8, right? We plateau otherwise. Got to change things up. The more you believe in yourself, the more confidence you have, you will invest more into it. Meaning, set that realistic expectation. If you know that you're only going to work out twice a week, because that's all you've proven that you can do in the past, only start out twice a week. Set the expectation. And it's okay that the effort or the consistency is a little bit lower, right? Where a 10 would be maybe 5 or 6 times a week. You don't need to do that. You're doing the best you can. In time, that confidence will grow. Maybe you will then be at a 10. It took me 3 years to get to a 10. How often are you working out, right? These are sacrifices. Set realistic expectations. Another sacrifice, waking up early, right? I chose to wake up at 4:30 in the morning because the gym I wanted to go to, I had to get farther drive than by the time I got back to work. That one for me was a commitment level and an energy level into it of 9 or 10. That was phenomenal. I was not a morning person and it wrecked me, but I got better at it, and now I wake up on my own at 6. Consistently changing and working on a habit, right? That's a sacrifice, waking up early, finding time when you guys are busy. I get it. I have 4 kids, a husband that travels. I work 90 hours a week, and I clean my own house. I do all these things on my own. I make time though. What is your priority, you will make time to do, right? So if it's not a priority and you're choosing to sleep in or choosing to not find a sitter or choosing to not tell your husband, hey, you go golfing and hunting and watch sports games. Hey kids, I take you to your sports events and to friends' houses and cart your butt all around and you're on the phone for an hour playing games. That's all your recharge time. Where's my recharge time? I get an hour, 2 hours, whatever you want a day where y'all can pitch in and do what you need to do. You all get an escape and a break, so do I. Lay down the law. They get a break, so do you. Make it happen, right? Because it's a priority to you, and it should be to your family. Your health and self-worth, all that's wrapped up in it, is worth it. So just have an honest discussion and get them on board with you as an accountability team and a support team. So sacrifices, time, right? Time is huge. Waking up early in the morning. Protein, that's number one thing you got to hit. So when people say, yeah, I'm doing the best I can and I'm not seeing results, I'm like, well, that's great. Just keep doing the best you can. But what does that mean? Are you hitting your protein number? Well, no. Well, okay. So then your input levels may be a 6, but if you want to see massive strength gains, you need to be to 10, which means you have to hit your protein gram every single day. It doesn't work if it's only a quarter or a 3/4, right? So that's something you can do better. That's investing in you. Buy a good healthy protein, a good quality, low temperature, slow processed protein, not the crap from Costco. I did that, been there. Those are investments, right? Pay for a plan of somebody that knows what they're doing. That's huge, right? Doing Instagram workouts is good. It isolates the muscle, but there's no progressive overload. There's no hitting all muscle groups in a way that you need to hit. It's just kind of doing a lot of the same movements over and over. And so again, that's a good, better, best. That's great. So I put those on there, knowing that I have a workout training program that is progressive overload with the right rests, with the right days in between for recovery, and the right muscle splits when needed, and how to challenge all of the muscle groups in that split. All of that is super important. That's an investment, right? I invested when I first started because I straight up knew I couldn't do it on my own. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a certified trainer. You want to see changes? Pay for a coach to tell you what to do. I mean, $25, $35, you can find programs for under $50. I created one for you because I know it works, but you don't have to use mine. Use anybody's. But if you're invested and you really want to see changes, changes, you can't say to somebody, well, I'm doing everything I can, but I'm not paying for a program, so I'm kind of guessing on how to put it together. I'm not using a real quality protein source because I would rather eat out at Subway a whole bunch of times in the month instead of buying a little bit better protein. Or I didn't wake up early enough, so I didn't get a long enough workout. Or I wanted to take a nap instead, or I went to a friend's house, so I didn't work out 3 times out of 4, right? Those are all very harsh realities. But I don't want you to quit and have unrealistic expectations, right? So when people say, well, I don't have your abs, I don't have your arms, I'll then ask all those same questions. And that's okay. They're starting anywhere from a 0 to a 10, like I started at a 2, but I'm at a 9 or 10 now, and what I put in, I get back out. So just have that expectation, know that you're doing the best you can, and in time that will get better and better. Find a coach or program to follow, buy and invest in a really good protein supplement. Get your gut health in check, right? Get the multivitamins that you need so that you feel better, set yourself up for success so that you can work out that next day. Prioritize time with your family to make it happen, right? I promise you, you will feel better and be a better person by prioritizing your time. What's important to you, you'll make time to do. What's important to you, you'll put money towards versus something else. You pay for all your kids' sports, pay for a workout program, right? It's okay to invest in you, especially if you want to see results. So if you don't know where to start, hopefully that answers all your questions. I have all those solutions if you want to use my tools, find them anywhere else. But I promise you, you will see success if you start with small baby changes. It's okay being at a low energy level, like putting into it, right? It will come, right? If you're starting at 2, you'll be at 10 before you know it.